I stared at the DNA test results with shaking hands, my grandfather's final gift destroying everything I thought I knew about my life. 3 months earlier, Grandpa Joe had passed away at 92. We'd always been close, closer than I was with my own parents, honestly. While Mom and Dad were busy with their medical practices, Grandpa Joe was the one teaching me to fish, helping with homework, listening to my teenage heartbreak stories. At the reading of his will, everyone expected him to leave his house to my parents. Instead, he left it to me. Mom's face went white. Dad started stammering about unusual decisions and dementia. But the lawyer assured us Grandpa Joe had been completely sound when he'd updated his will just 6 months before his death. The house came with specific instructions. I was to go alone to the basement and open the old safe behind his workbench. Inside, I'd find the truth about who you really are, sweetheart. I thought maybe he'd left me old family photos or his war medals. Something sentimental. I was so wrong. The combination was my birthday, of course it was. Inside the vault sat a manila envelope with my name written in his careful handwriting. My hands trembled as I opened it. The first document made my blood freeze. It was a birth certificate. But not mine, at least, not the one I'd always known. This one showed different parents. Different names I'd never heard of, Sarah and Michael Chen. Below that, a stack of legal papers. An illegal adoption. Money changing hands. Forged documents. And at the bottom, a letter in Grandpa Joe's handwriting that started with the words that shattered my world. Emma, your parents bought you when you were 3 days old. I couldn't breathe. The basement walls felt like they were closing in. The letter explained everything. How my parents, Dr. Patricia and Dr. Robert Martinez, had tried for years to have children. How they'd found a desperate young couple through illegal channels. How they'd paid $50,000 for a healthy newborn and doctored all the paperwork. My real parents, Sarah and Michael Chen, had been 19 and homeless. They thought they were giving their baby a better life. They had no idea the adoption wasn't legitimate, that they'd have no way to ever contact me or know if I was okay. Grandpa Joe had found out by accident when I was 5. He'd seen some paperwork my parents thought they'd hidden. He'd confronted them, threatened to expose everything. They'd begged him to keep quiet, promising they'd tell me the truth when I turned 18. They never did. 18 became 21. 21 became 25. Now I was 30, and they were still lying to my face every single day. The worst part? Grandpa Joe had spent 15 years trying to find my real parents. He'd hired private investigators, searched records, followed every lead. He'd found them 2 years ago, living in Oregon. Sarah worked as a nurse's aide. Michael was a mechanic. They'd stayed together, had 2 other children, my siblings I'd never met. They thought about me every day. Sarah kept my ultrasound picture in her wallet. They'd named their other children Emma and Joseph, after me and after the grandfather who'd been searching for them. I sat on that basement floor and sobbed until I couldn't breathe. Everything was a lie. My name, my identity, my entire life. When I finally went upstairs, Mom was waiting in the kitchen. She took one look at my face and knew. Emma, honey, we can explain. Don't. My voice came out cold and sharp. Don't call me honey. Don't pretend you care about me. You bought me like a piece of furniture. Dad appeared in the doorway. We gave you a good life. We love you like our own. I'm not yours. I screamed. You stole me from my real family and lied about it for 30 years. They started making excuses. How young and irresponsible my birth parents were. How I'd had opportunities one never would have had otherwise. How they'd always planned to tell me. Lies. All of it lies. I walked out of that house and didn't speak to them for 2 weeks while I planned my next move. The 4th document in Grandpa Joe's envelope was contact information for Sarah and Michael Chen. Current address, phone numbers, even their work schedules. My grandfather had done all the homework. I called Sarah first. When she heard my voice say, "I think I'm your daughter Emma," she started crying so hard she couldn't speak. Michael grabbed the phone and through his own tears told me they'd never stopped hoping they'd find me someday. We video called that night. The resemblance was undeniable. I had Sarah's eyes and Michael's stubborn chin. Their other children, Jenny and Joey, looked exactly like me. We were clearly family in a way I'd never felt with the Martinezes. While I was building a relationship with my real parents, I was planning my revenge on the fake ones. I gathered every piece of evidence Grandpa Joe had collected. Financial records of the illegal payment. Forged birth certificates. Documentation of the falsified adoption paperwork. Then I made copies of everything and mailed them to the State Medical Board, the Adoption Fraud Division of the FBI, and a journalist friend who specialized in corruption stories. The story broke 3 weeks later. Prominent doctors involved in illegal baby purchase scheme. The medical board launched an immediate investigation. The FBI opened a case. Their medical practice started hemorrhaging patients. But I wasn't done. I scheduled one final meeting with Patricia and Robert Martinez. I refused to call them mom and dad anymore. I told them I was considering not pressing charges if they did one thing: publicly apologize to my real parents and help fund a nonprofit for adoption fraud victims. They showed up thinking they could manipulate me one more time. Instead, they found my real parents, a lawyer, and a recording device. Sarah looked at Patricia and said quietly, "You stole 19 years of my daughter's life from me. 19 years of birthdays, graduations, heartbreaks I should have been there for." Patricia started crying, begging forgiveness. But her tears felt as fake as everything else about her. In the end, they lost their medical licenses. They paid a massive settlement to establish the Sarah and Michael Chin Foundation for Adoption Integrity. And they had to write personal letters of apology to my real parents. 6 months later, I moved to Oregon to be closer to my actual family. I'm learning what it feels like to belong somewhere real. Jenny and Joey, my sister and brother, are teaching me family card games I never learned. Sarah and I cook together every Sunday. Michael's been showing me how to change my own oil. The people who raised me gave me financial advantages and educational opportunities. But my real parents gave me something the Martinezes never could: unconditional love and truth. Sometimes the family you're born into isn't the family you're meant to have. But sometimes, if you're lucky enough, you get to find your way back home. Have you experienced something like this? Tell me in the comments.